Hey everybody, so I'm two-parting this video tonight. Gotta take care of something in between around 9, so um, yeah. So just to get started, some real interesting news came out. There's been a push by workers. I'm sure you've heard of the Fight for 15, low-wage workers fighting to get at least a semi-livable wage of $15 an hour. Really should be even higher, but at least this would get it to a level where maybe people aren't having to work multiple jobs or actually work and still require government assistance. Particularly out of these really massive companies like Walmart, Amazon, Apple, and Disney, a lot of places like that. That these fucking CEOs have already a lot of money, so they should probably stand to give some to their workers who are really doing the job, doing the work that makes all that money for them. Not saying they don't do anything. I wouldn't assume to know, but nonetheless, the level of inequality between the CEO and the worker has gotten so out of hand. So this is really a small first step. So a while back, workers stood up for their rights at Disney, and they were supported by only a couple politicians, Congressman Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, really, among a few others. And then they turned their sights on Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, who, by the way, owns the Washington Post, which I'll come back to in a second. They pressed on him, say, hey, you're making basically like $2.5 million a day. Give something to your workers. It shouldn't be that they're working and still having to rely on the government to keep them alive. Generally, if you have a job, you should be able to live. That's just simple as that. If that has gotten lost along the way, it's happened for teachers, it's happened for many people. And moreover, they're expecting, rather than working a 40-hour work week, they're wanting to work double, triple. So, really just telltale signs of late-stage oligarchic excessive capitalism. Simple as that. But people gave Sanders and Khanna and others, a lot of crap and saying, oh, why are you going after Bezos? He's doing good things. He's doing, and he's not Trump. He's a rich guy who's not Trump. And we've seen this rise, really, of the rich anti-Trumps, your Mike Bloombergs, your Howard Schultzes, and your Jeff Bezos and the like. And look, I'm fine with the fact that they're against Trump. Anybody who's against Trump, I'm happy. The less people support Trump, the better. But that doesn't absolve you of your sins. And I'm going to touch on that in the second part of the video. But it just can't be considered that. Sorry. You can't just consider the fact that there's nuance. Just because a person's against Trump doesn't make them 100% good. So we have to criticize. We have to, especially when it is the capitalist class, the rich, the powerful, we have to hold them to account. And just this little thing, Sanders put him to the sword, and a lot of people, including Bezos' own Washington Post, start writing op-eds and saying, oh, why are you focusing attention on this? This is not important. This is dumb, and this and that. And so they put out a bill, and the bill admittedly was probably not a particularly good bill when you look down at it, but it really is not relevant whether it's a good bill or not when there's no chance anyone's going to pass it. But it increased the pressure. Now, to be clear, the people who deserve the most credit are not the politicians, they're the workers. They're those people who are suffering every day and who stood up and with a voice they said, we're not putting up with this. They are the ones that deserve almost all the credit. But some credit has to go to those politicians who also amplified their voice. Because as much as we don't like to admit it, elected politicians get more of a voice. And so credit has to go there as well. So it's a fantastic thing. And at the same time, while it is a fantastic win, because against this class of people, just like the Senate Republicans, and I said that was a nice win previously, you're talking about a group that's so recalcitrant. You're talking about a group that's so hard to move, even an inch. The fact that you got Bezos to move was actually a win, and we have to take our wins. All right. Now doesn't mean we're satisfied. You keep pushing forward. You don't stop. You get your win, and you keep moving the fuck forward, because we know, even though they've done this, it's either a PR ploy or there's going to be something in the back. And what just has come out is that what they were doing, kind of backdooring. So to basically set off some of the costs from increasing the minimum wage, what they're doing is they're essentially removing bonuses and things like that, stock options and the like, and that needs to now be called out. All right. If Bernie Sanders, if kind of the people who push for this don't come out on that, that's on them. Then they have to be held accountable. We are not in the business. Obviously, electoral politics is necessary, and we have to use it to our advantage. But we're not in the business of hero worship. We're not in the purpose of being a fucking cult, for a person. We don't worship like the Trump people. All right? You don't do like worship. And if Bernie Sanders goes quiet on this issue, then he has to hear about it. If any progressive politician goes quiet on the issue, they got to hear about it. So, because ultimately this is going to be powered through the movement. It's going to be powered through the workers. They're going to have to make their voice heard, and they will. I have no doubt of that. Whether they have a union that's in order and in good shape or not, we saw it with the teachers in West Virginia. If you keep kicking people around, they will make their voices heard. So good win, but there's more to do, and it's not good enough to just raise in one area and cut in another, because then you're not really sacrificing. Why is it so hard for Jeff Bezos to have to sacrifice? How many of us have to sacrifice every day? All right, work our asses off and sacrifice every day. And I'm not even, I even don't like to include myself in that. I do work hard. I'm far from rich, but I would consider myself in a better shape than most people. And it's ridiculous, the treatment that working people get. How many people have to sacrifice on a daily basis? Well, Jeff Bezos, he can't stand to lose a little bit of profit. That's not right. That's not correct. And really, stuff like that makes me further and further question whether the system in play right now can even be saved by some sort of social democracy. I don't think so. It's just the more I see, the more evidence I see. I just don't know if it's savable, because unfortunately, our society is so set on greed, so set on money, that we're willing to be short-sighted, and we're willing to probably destroy the earth to get short-sighted benefits. So I'm going to come back shortly with another video, and then of course, because it takes a long time to upload, we'll see how that works out. All right, thanks. Till next time.